What's up, everybody? As I just posted a few minutes ago, I told y'all that I would be going live again. So this is once again um, my live broadcast. Um, and once again, I came to you. What's up, Mario Leonard? What's going on? Nice to see you. Oh, what's up, Captain Jack? What's going on, yo? Nice to see you. As always, I want to talk to you guys about a topic of very deep concern. If you're not doing anything better right now, I think you should give it a listen. Thanks for the love. The reason why I think you should give it a listen is if you're somebody that lives in the Virgin Islands that loves this place, it's something that you ought to be concerned with and that concerns you. So check it out. If not, just catch it on the replay. You know, most people don't join right away. But anyway, the topic of this particular one is all about the new Virgin Islands anti-litter law. And I don't know if you guys have been following me lately, but this is like this is definitely my fifth speech for the week. So I've been covering a whole lot of issues. Go back and check out my channel. Been talking about some deep issues, but people have chosen not to respond at all, and I haven't gotten any feedback, and I don't understand why. Because I'm like the only person talking about it. People just don't seem to be interested in these kind of things. But I promise you that today you'll be interested in this one right here. So just hang on. Thanks for hanging in there with me, Captain. Okay, check it out. I'll get right to it. The new Virgin Islands anti-loitering law. Greetings once again, and I'm going to rip a few new assholes to some people. And I don't care how they take it. They could deal with it how they like. But I know how I'm going to deal with them, and you'll see. Once again, I come to you in humility and with great sincereness in addressing a topic of very deep concern. But before I get into it, I would like to preface all my comments with some background. As many of you know, I was a promoter. Many of us called us barkers on Main Street for 20 years. Then I retired from that activity back in 2015. Just before I retired, the Virgin Islands Police Department doubled down on their efforts to remove people of my profession and those of several others from being able to continue what we were doing. Ganjanero, what's up? Yo, listen, I'm going to need you to continue watching this and probably give some feedback and some interaction on this one, because I'm dropping a very serious topic. I'm ripping some people, some bigger assholes today. So, and I'm going to take my time. I'm walking down the hill nice and slow so that I don't just fuck a few cows. You know, I want to fuck them all. So I'm like walking down, checking out all the cows and seeing what's available for me to address right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get, that's why I'm living this off-grid Ibmore lifestyle. So just hang in there with me, bro. All right? Yeah, okay, cool. So just before I retired, the Virgin Islands Police Department doubled down on their efforts to remove people of my profession and those of several others from being able to continue doing what we were doing. They used the color of law to achieve their ends, and they were successful in intimidating everyone into complying on a de facto basis, except myself. Time and time again, the police would show up and attempt to remove everyone who was present downtown on a regular basis that was labeled a public menace by important sectors of the business community simply because of the professions that we were in. These people included promoters, timeshare representatives, and taxi drivers particularly. This was and still is a concerted effort on the part of multiple entities as listed on the India Association letterhead, which I still have, that somehow ended up in my profession, in my possession, where they were plotting against us and labeling all, what's up, Bugsy? They were labeling all the people of various professions as menaces, and how they were going to organize against us to wipe us away. And anyway, so that's what they were going to do to prove these to achieve those ends, and I could prove it. right? So the police were trying to intimidate us for the entire 20 years that I worked in that area. And this time it was different. This time it was different. They had the backing of the governor the last time I was there, and the legislature, and like I said, multiple agencies were acting in concert to get rid of us. What's up, yo? What's up, Bugsy? Shortly after my retirement, was a legislative hearing with a bill proposed to criminalize the activities of the people involved in the professions I mentioned. They were going to enact a form of an anti-loitering law that would have been specifically directed at us, and I wasn't having it. I found out about the hearing only hours before it took place. I went home and showered and got extra fly on their ass. And I put on a white suit and then I went to the hearing. And not as a spectator, but as a participant. Former Senator Millen Young presided over the committee. She tried to deny me an opportunity to testify, but I wasn't having it. I demanded my opportunity and I got my way. The hearing was very long, and I was the last one to speak. I had to sit there and suffer through all the horrible, unsubstantiated allegations of what my people in my professions did to disturb a so-called successful climate of commerce downtown. I had to sit through a few sad stories by some of my colleagues about how badly they needed their jobs and for the legislature to please not take their jobs. I had to sit through watching the gallery of spectators who, by judging the satisfied looks on their faces, believed that they were finally going to get their way. That's until I showed up. Surprisingly, everyone spoke about everything except whether the actions of the legislature was lawful or not. Not me, though. I came prepared. I showed up with several Black's Law Dictionary definitions, and I spoke about the only thing truly relevant in any legislative procedure, the law. You see, I'm a cool guy, but I don't like bullies, and I always leave the bully alone and let him do his thing, but when they get around to me, bullies usually meet their match. I've been beating up bullies my entire life, and this time was no different. So they bullied me for 20 years, and now it was time for some payback. Not the type that you might think, though. I went in with my thinking cap on and turned what was surely considered a sure thing into a bill that was tabled and put aside, never to be brought up again until now in another form. So you know what that means, right? I got to come out of retirement. Anyway, no one had any idea what I was going to say. I was given 5 minutes to speak and no more. Almost everyone else who wanted extra time to speak had been given that opportunity except me. I guess I had said enough. They didn't want to hear from me any longer after that. No problem, because I utilized my time wisely. The first few minutes, I gotta admit, I wasted on telling the body about myself and how they shouldn't have slept on me, because after this was over, they were gonna have to make a choice. I informed them of the illegality of what they were planning to do and cautioned them that if they took any further steps in ratifying that law that evening, that I personally would begin proceedings in the form of a mass class action suit on behalf of the people of the Virgin Islands. I informed them that the only difference between them and the time that they allowed me to speak and that time is that now they were duly informed of their error, and any continuation of any actions they were planning on taking at that point would be taken willfully and in full knowledge and in wanton disregard of the error they were about to make, and that every member that votes in favor of the bill would have been named in the lawsuit as well as the legislature itself. Had they continued on that course, that would have satisfied both elements needed to make my lawsuit enforceable, the guilty mind and the overt action. Later on, I was questioned by Senator Millen Young, and she, in her words, found me to have a quote-unquote attitude. So she ejected me from the proceedings. But that bill didn't pass, though, did it? Nah. Now that's power. And I didn't care about getting kicked out. I got what I wanted. I had them right where I wanted them, and I knew it. Yeah, I single-handedly secured that victory for the people of the Virgin Islands. And not many people even knew about it. Some people that matter know, though. The Chamber of Commerce, the India Association, the Historic Society, police department, DPNR, the Main Street merchants who was in favor of all of that, the 40 promoters whose jobs I helped save, the timeshare people, the taxi drivers. Go ahead, ask them. They know what I did. All I got for a bully is pressure. And by pressure, I mean bite force. That's all I know. My friend John was right to call me a crocodile. All I got for a bully is 2,000 pounds of pressure for that ass. And if I go into a death row, it's worse. Hold on, let me see what Ganja is saying. What's the difference between barking for a store and a store that don't have a barker to promote the store, but when, hold on. Oh, but when they see us taxi, they hand us their card to bring business. Yep, they needed to leave you all alone. Oxymoron, people out here. Yeah, that's for real. You know why? Because what's funny is I even have video footage, because all of this stems out of, and I'm gonna get to that too. This new gentrification project and what's going on. The face of St. Thomas is changing as far as the locals is concerned, and big business is moving in, and all kind of stuff is going on. And I'm gonna break that down in a second. But you could see the Royal Caribbean representatives that come off the ship, and they're able to openly do the same exact thing that we're doing, and what the timeshare people were doing. They were able to openly do it in everybody's faces, and it was sanctioned by the government and all of these associations. So that's what was going on there. And Bugsy said he saw it online, and thank you, kudos, thank you for that. Anyway, all I got for a bully is 2,000 pounds of pressure for that ass, and if I go into a death row, it's worse. So here we are today, 4 years later, and it seems that our bumbling politicians want to awaken the slumbering beast again. Okay, I don't mind exposing you again, but this time, unless something is done about this law, there will be consequences. Tourism, man, fuck tourism right now. That's the least of my concern. You know what I'm saying? My concern is what I'm about to lay out to you right now. Anyway, there will be consequences. I have yet to discover which senators went along with this, but believe me, I intend to find out. And I hope not all, because whoever did vote for this law has just committed political suicide, because the people don't want this. This is not what you guys say this is not what you guys say this is about, and I'm about to prove it to you. You're acting against the will of the people. Governor Bryan is already, based on his actions or inaction so far, a one-term governor, and he's a clown. Change costs now. What a great campaign you ran, but you produced nothing, my man. You set us back. And I'm not a I'm not a fan of former Governor Mapp, but let me be clear. I say this only about his personality, because he's pompous as fuck. I talked a lot of crap about the man at one point. I have to own up to that. And in that crap talking, I have to say that by watching the man's actions, and definitely by comparing him to Bryan, he was a very capable and above average governor. And after a while, seeing him in action, he began to win me over. So this new camp coming, I ain't see, they say give him a chance. He only been in 9 months, but I ain't seen even the way he handled a lot of things. I'm just not impressed. And not only that, I was willing to stay quiet about it until now they came forward with this bullshit, and it feel like you backing me in the corner, and I got to come out swinging now, backing all of us. I can't let it go down like this. Anyway, I didn't like his pomposity, but let's face it, his government was in order, and he knew how to make his administration accountable to him. Schneider was the same way, and nobody liked him either, but they were both some strong, capable leaders that shook things up, asked questions, and got answers, and above all, got things done. And I don't agree with all that they've done, but I like how they both got down, how they led. Now let's get into how this whole thing supposedly got started. The new anti-loitering law in the Virgin Islands. On July 29th, 2019, there was a beach event called Floatopia. At least that's what they say on the press release. This is his justification, and all the different press releases seem to echo the same thing. In the St. Croix Virgin Islands, gunshots erupted in the crowd, and 6 people were reported injured reported injured due to the violence. Here's why I find the actions of the governor and the members of the legislature suspicious. As of today, and that was only 64 days ago. So as of the time that I wrote that, that's today. And when that Flotopia incident happened, that was only 64 days ago. Now use your head, folks. What's going on, Flower Bomb? You know you're a Flower Bomb, right? A real Flower Bomb. Anyway, nice to see you. As of today, that was only 64 days ago. So you got unprecedented cooperation between the legislative and executive branch through this right now. And it all seems very Hegelian dialectical to me. Problem, reaction, solution. Check it out. There's an ends that justifies the means. So you name me another time when any other legislation was proposed by the governor and it was approved by council and drawn up and agreed upon and made into law by the Senate in 64 days. And you got to understand, this bill was passed several days ago. So it's less than 64 days. You feeling me? How much time do you have before this all goes down? It's already law. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have no time. Anyway, I haven't checked, but I doubt there was another time prior to this that was done, where you had that much cooperation between both, houses, parts of governor. Yep, it's done. What unprecedented cooperation on the part of both branches. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but to me, it smells totally like rat out here. You feeling me? I will let you in on a little hint. I know exactly what's going on. And by the time I'm done here, you will too. So just hang in there a few more minutes and I'm going to break it down for you. The Virgin Islands is up for sale to the highest bidder. So apparently Brian got all in his feelings and decided that he had had enough. He was going to do something about it, and this time, under his watch, things were going to be different than how it was before. He determined that the legislation that he would propose would surely be a huge start in eliminating the random acts of gun violence committed by the individuals who are loitering, perhaps with intentions to kill somebody at some point while they are doing so. He apparently figured that these criminals are so afraid of loitering charges that enacting this law would be enough of an effort to deter the violence. After all, if there's no one just hanging around on the streets, police would find it easier to target and isolate the real criminals because they would be the only ones out on the street with guns, perhaps ready to kill someone at any given time. So his solution, apparently, is that with fewer people on the streets, the people would definitely know who has the guns because they're left on the street. The people with the guns would be the people who remain on the street when everyone else is gone, while they are possibly looking for their next victim, somebody to shoot. So please stop me when I start sounding stupid. What's that? Huh? I already do? Oh well, I was merely trying to get into the mind of an obvious idiot. But wait, maybe he's not an idiot. Maybe, just maybe, he's working in the interest of someone other than the people. That would explain it, because he's definitely not working for the people, because where did this come from? If he were, he would definitely act differently or out of common sense. He should know that the people that this is going to affect the most are young black males who congregate in different neighborhood settings called turfs. I don't know where Mr. Brian is from, but that is how it's always been in the Virgin Islands. Here in the Virgin Islands, that is part of our culture. The men congregate together as men to enjoy a camaraderie that only a properly vetted Virgin Islands man would understand. Am I suggesting that he is not such a man? Well, not knowing him and based on what he says is his motivation alone, I would say that he is not. He certainly seems to have distanced himself from having that type of identification with VI culture. What I just said made little sense, or it made a little bit of sense, or it made no sense, but mention guns in people's ears perk up. I don't really understand what you're saying. Oh, you're saying that, oh, what he was saying, I said, let me know when I'm not making sense. Okay, I get it. Okay, I feel you. I'm feeling you. I get it. Yeah. So, he distanced himself from having that type of identification with VI culture. So, the question that stands out in my mind is why. Do you know how many elders this could possibly affect as well? Poor old guys out there on the corner. Those poor old guys out there on the corner. Poor things. They're not going to be able to play dominoes anymore, are they? Or maybe they'll get a pass. What's up, Emil Harper? Or maybe it's just for the young people. I get it. In the case that anyone hasn't noticed, there isn't a whole lot to do here anyway. So for those of you that are not aware, the governor and the legislature don't just get to make up any rule that they want to and make it into law. No. There's a set of guidelines that they must conform to, or they will be committing a crime. Or some kind of breach of service, or I can't name the appropriate thing right now, but dereliction of duty on some level. But there's a correct term for it. But judges don't get to make rulings willy-nilly without accountability either. I mean, they do, but that is only because we do not hold them accountable for either lack of knowledge, fear, or laziness. They too are held to a set of professional standards that they have to conform to in order to hold their positions. To explain this, I have to refer to a document known as the Revised Organic Act of 1954, particularly Section 3, the Bill of Rights. This section set the parameters by which legislative powers are limited. In this section, there's a mention of something called a Bill of Attainder. Another name of it is called a Bill of Pains and Penalties. Go ahead, look it up on Google. Historically, it has everything to do with due process and people in power not being able to abuse their power. In Section 3, it clearly says that no ex post facto law or Bill of Attainder shall be enacted. In ancient times, laws like these were enacted in order for people in power to literally impose a death sentence upon their subjects. You know why? Because it imposes a punishment without trial. You feeling me? So that's the main, factor in that. And, you know, back like when, Henry VIII used to depose of his enemies in such a way. And when legal reform began to be made, beginning with the writing of the Magna Carta, which is the Great Charter, first drafted by the Archbishop of Canterbury and signed by King John of England at the tip of a spear. You know, they put a spear to his head and was like, you're going to sign these rules right here. That's when rules like this began to be enacted. These types of laws forbidding these actions are written into all modern constitutions to prevent corruptions. And you may not know it yet, but these actions represent a very dark day in VI history. And just as it has been done, it has to be undone. So this requires action right now. I'm just giving you context to the whole thing right now. Don't believe me? Well, maybe you'll trust the opinions of both former AG and current AG, Clyde Walker and Denise George's counts, who are on record as saying that the fines are excessive and the ambitions of the legislative endeavors are overbroad, to say quote unquote. They both also cite constitutional concerns. And also, what's up, Dante? Also, Denise George's counts and Claude Walker, they very much know what they're talking about when they advised the legislature about this issue, because I had already shut them down a few years ago, and they was like, yo, we better back off because this dude know what he's talking about. I don't know if it was because of me or some advice from somewhere else or whatever, but that shut them down, and now it's trying to resurface, you know? They're trying to resurface with this, but they know what they're talking about. There's constitutional concerns. They even said that the language in the law, it has to be written in such a way to avoid constitutional concerns and to identify, to make certain identifications like probable cause and whatever. What I envision out of this is a lot. First of all, you're giving the police too much power, right? Just like the seatbelt and broken tail light kind of thing, they can stop you for rebranding. I get it. So, yep, that's exactly what they was doing. What's up, Mr. Me, Jay Walls? Nice seeing you, brother. So they just rebranding it and repackaging it as whatever, and they're using this Hegelian dialectical method by saying, oh, all of these shootings are so terrible, to justify a lot of things that I'm about to tell you about right now. So let me finish up because I don't want to lose y'all attention. So, sorry, I know this is taking long, but bear with me. This is important. I have to be complete. The governor in his speech announcing this said, and I quote, "From my part, I would kick down every single door and arrest these people because we know who they are in our community," end quote. You hear that? The governor has proven himself unfit to lead. We are a nation of laws, and just like there are laws to protect victims, therefore there are also laws that protect the common person from tyranny, and what he's suggesting is tyranny. Our governor, through that statement, clearly shows that he does not respect the rule of law. And Senator Novell Francis, who's an ex-cop, seems to think that fines as high as $5,000 and a 1-year jail term would be appropriate. Brothers and sisters, are these your representatives? Did you think that they would take your vote and do this? Wow. Now to get to the juicy part and wrap this up, what I've been promising y'all the whole time. As I mentioned earlier, the Virgin Islands is up for sale. It has been for a while, and there are some influences here with very, very deep pockets that apparently moved in and found out who is who and set a plan to get their money working for them in order for things to go exactly how they like, if you understand what I'm saying. Now, whether you know it or not, these Virgin Islands are turning out to be a playground for the wealthy. I mean, it always has been, but we didn't notice it because the quality of life that we ourselves had. And in the meantime, things have been happening. The place has slowly been becoming gentrified. Like I said, the face of the local population here is a lot different. And ain't nothing wrong with new people moving here and whatever. What the problem is that a lot of us is moving out because we can't afford to live here. And we selling our property and our professional licenses and all kind of stuff. And those things will be given up, never to fall in local hands again. That's the gentrification process that I speak of. And nobody likes that. Anyway, the place has become slowly gentrified. Many of our locals leave in search of opportunity because they can't afford to live here anymore. They sell their properties, their businesses and licenses, and sell things that never end up in local hands again. For these locals that don't understand what's going on, you are being squeezed out. Thanks for the love, Julie. You are now persona non grata. And it's time to rise your vibe and elevate your vibe and become, are we not the people of the fire burn and stuff like that? Is that not our legacy? You know, we're going to stand by and we're going to watch what's going on like this until it's too late. Come on now, get your heads right, you know? Anyway, ask the governor because even he would lock us all up if he could. Now look at the developments going on around the place, and they cannot find a way to adequately fix our schools or healthcare. That is because that's not a priority for them. They cannot adequately provide services for the mentally ill. They want life harder and harder for us so that they could eventually get us to move out of here on our own. There is a lot happening in stages. This isn't just about gun violence. Our leaders couldn't give a shit less about that. This is about clearing the way for what happens next. First, there is the revitalization of Main Street. What you think they doing that for? Us? And then you got that big project on the waterfront. There's a lot of things going on. They want things perfect for the interest that's been buying them out. Soon they'll probably come up with something to move all the residents out of Paul M. Pearson Gardens and Oswald Harris Court probably fabricate something like mold issues or whatever, and the people gonna have to move. Because why? That's prime real estate. You think they want the projects directly across from the Rat Haven Grand? I mean the Yacht Haven Grand. You know I said that on purpose. Anyway, Dunu is another location, and so is Bluebirds. There's a lot happening, and there's power brokers here. People with real power that's changing the face of the Virgin Islands. And, not because, I love everybody, whoever's made this their home and love this, willing to do the best they can to make this place a better world. You know what I'm saying? Or a better chain of islands. My focus is on the whole world, but I'm starting here. Anyway, all of these are prime real estate locations that I predict will be sold off to foreign interest. Also, no loitering laws, and this is a big one. Check it out. Yeah, Rat Haven. Remember when after the hurricane it was all messed up? We used to call it Rat Haven. Also, no loitering laws, and this is a big one right here that y'all gonna have to check out. Will have the benefit of eliminating the financial competition of those big weed companies that are probably scheduled to come here once we get full legalization. It's been decriminalized now. Now they want to... Does that make sense? Now they're going to make it so that we can't be on the street to sell the weed, I guess, or to get the weed or whatever. We're going to have to purchase it from those dispensaries. And, this is a way to get the police to do their dirty work and to expand police powers and to initiate draconian measures in the community. And if we let it happen, what's up, Cuzzo? Richie, I just see that you joined. So if we let it, then they'll add more shit and more shit. So we gotta stop them in their tracks right now. And what we gotta do is reverse this, because they're permanently changing the face of VI culture forever. That we can't have turfs where we could congregate or whatever because somebody might get shot. You act like this is going on all the time. But let me go back to the marijuana thing. They done get outsider. Yep, see, my boy confirmed it. They already got outsiders locked in. Now people with deep pockets are going to be able to move in and capitalize on what should be ours to capitalize. You watch and see. All because you guys are not and have not been watching the front gate to see who's been coming in. Well, I'm not giving up the ghost so easily. And you could liken me to that mythical wizard in the sci-fi movie series called Lord of the Rings. I'm talking about Gandalf the Grey, who famously stated in one of his scenes, "I stand at the gate, and you shall not pass, motherfucker. You shall not pass." So I said a mouthful, right? Yeah, I sure did. And I'm not done. I have a lot more to say, but I'll have to save it for later. At some point, enough has to be enough. I just wanted to say a few more things. Virgin Islanders, this climate of fear and passivity, it must end. These people are figuratively boiling us alive like frogs. We know it just keeps getting hotter in this pot that we're in, but we won't jump out and face what's happening to us. Things are changing right before our eyes. Is that what they must be saying about us? Is it true? Are we pussy? They've been saying that we pussy. Is it true? Are we scared? And if so, what are we afraid of? Are we stupid? I know that they think that we are. And I'm calling upon all Virgin Islanders of all ethnic backgrounds who love this place as much as I do. Take a stand for your home. I'm getting ready to confront these cats. What say you? Who is with me? What was ultimately done ultimately has to be undone. We need to step up and let these people know that what has been done is not the will of the majority of the people, and reverse this. It may have never been done before, but we need to hold every politician who supported this measure accountable, or they will face the real threat of this being their last term in office. And we need to add teeth to this. We need to let these motherfuckers know that we serious. If it's a petition, whatever it is that we have to do to let them know that we're serious. You know what I'm saying? This could be their last term in office. And you know they like that power more than the money and all of that other stuff. So that might affect them. That might be significant enough for them. Let's get this process started. I already know that a lot of you really are pussy, but you really dig what I've been saying today, though, right? And I want to show you a really effortless way that you could thing that you could do, a way of doing your part without exposing yourself. Should you be so pussy that you don't want to, whatever. All you got to do is share this, share this video on as many platforms as you could, and you will have done really well for our community. We need to get the word out and reverse this trend. It has been governmental ineptitude and our belief in their sincerity and abilities that has been causing our quality of life to plunge steadily downward. Help me, if nothing else, find the right people to help me do what I gotta do. Help me get this thing started. FYI, on another note, I need financial resources to help me achieve my goals. If you want to help me out financially, it would be greatly appreciated and used well. My PayPal details are as follows. PayPal.me/Everett Parker Jr. That's EverettParkerJr. It's all, one word. And I would greatly appreciate any help in any denomination that you could spare. On Facebook, I am Everett Parker Jr. On Instagram, I am Fair None. My Patreon address is patreon.com/Fair None. Please consider becoming a patron for exclusive content that I have yet to create. And don't worry, I have ideas. I got lots of ideas. The more support that I get, the less chasing money that I have to do, and I could spend more time on producing quality content. That's the simple fact of the matter. Anyway, as much as I would like to add more onto this subject, I have to go. And until next time, take care of yourselves and of each other. One. So, is there anything that anybody... thank you all for hanging in there till the end. I appreciate that. I just wanted to say, is there anything that anybody wanted to discuss? Any feedback at all? Yes, I see Jack approves. He gave me the thumbs up seal of approval. Nah, man, I don't want to run for Senate. I feel that I could be more effective as somebody that put pressure on senators, out here. Y'all need me out here more than you need me in the Senate. Also, what I believe that we have to do, I believe that it's not a belief at this point. It's simple fact. It's what we got to do now. We have to take measures into our own hands. And what I mean, not vigilanteism or no crazy shit like that. I'm saying we have to select our own candidates now. Just like you just mentioned that I should run for Senate. Thank you. That's really flattering, but I feel that I'd be more effective in the capacity that I am in now. And also, I would like to help find and vet the honest people in our communities who can hold one head and establish a singleness of purpose and vote one way, the people's way. Yeah, I know I could make changes, but I'm just one person. See, the problem with the way our political system is set up is that you just have to be popular to get elected, right? So it was strategically designed the way it is so that you got all these popular people and they're just all of them are like trying to get reelected. That's like their main thing, to have this job and this adventure that they on continue. You feeling me? And as you know, and we've seen it time and time again on the front page, many of our elected representatives or appointed representatives got their hands caught in the cookie jar and whatever. So people, it's like me becoming a cop. If I would have ever become a police officer, my fellow officers would have murdered me Stephen Hodge style, because the first time I see one of my fellow officers mess up, and they break a law too, and here we are arresting other people, I'm gonna take them into my custody. And of course that would put me in danger and stuff like that. The whole force would hate me, but of course they'll set me up late at night. I'd be like, Everett, come outside, and blam. That's what they do to people like that. And now I'd be very ineffective, in that capacity. But if we could get 15 people that could hold the same head, and but we, the people ourselves, have to establish what's called a singleness of purpose, a common direction that we all want to head. If we all don't, like right now we have lobbyists. The lobbyists are who gets to influence public policy around here. They're the only ones that's organized enough. They'll come up with enough money to get their candidate to run. You think about it. Brian had a lot of money. Was that grassroots money to run his campaign? Because as far as I know, he came out of nowhere, and just ran a very effective campaign and got people to believe in him. But here it is, whatever amount of months later, and nothing significant has really been done. You feeling me? Yeah, I see that you agree, Bugsy, Sean Smith. Yeah. Lobbyists had that singularity of mind. Yep, singularity of mind and purpose that you're talking about, and the money. So there are people who can actually get things done. They concentrate their muscles and pull them all in the same direction. And I know I spoke on some ethnic things today, right? Like I talked about gentrification and stuff like that, and it might appear that I suffer from some form of xenophobia, but I don't. I deal with all people of all races and cultures and backgrounds or whatever. But that does not mean, don't think for 1 second that I don't have loyalty and don't continue to have an affinity for my own people. Look at the gas station near the water store across from Home Depot. They started working on that again. Yeah. I don't even know how they got a permit for that, to be able to have that, gas station where it is, right on top of a water table. It seems like money talks, bullshit walks. But here they are with this anti-loitering bill that these guys know that it's illegal. They know what's up with that. They know about bills of attainder, because and bills of pains and penalties, because not only did I break it down to them, but they have what you call legal counsel in the legislature and in the Attorney General's office, and these are the people who are required to prosecute cases that are going to be sent to them. Cases are going to be sent to them based on the violations that these officers make. And like, I ain't gonna lie, if these people violate me like that, man, I'm gonna just be suing people all day, man. Like I let Officer Shinnery slide, man. I ain't go after his pension and all of that, because you can't pay me to beat me and stuff like that. But like, something got to be done. They got to be penalties for they taking risk, right? They taking risk. So like, as of now, we're going to find out who those senators are that supported all of this. And I'm going to confront them. We're going to confront them as a community, and we're going to ask them why they've taken these measures and how effective they really think that what they've done could be, and what their level of compliance is going to be as far as making things right. What are you guys prepared to do to make things right? And if they're not prepared to do anything, well, I'm going to make that highly public. You know, and I don't know if you know this, but I do have the ability to articulate myself quite well. You know, I don't think these people are going to want to be fucking with me or giving me no hard time at all. And yes, I'm known to be a hothead, but remember, I have a military background as well. So there's no telling what my threshold is, because I used to have drill sergeants this close in my face on here. So when I set my mind to something, I could be incredibly disciplined. So all of you who were thinking of using that as a strategy to perhaps neutralize me, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't gonna catch me slipping out here too much. You feeling me? Anyway, is there anything else that anybody want to talk about? You said water source? What do you mean by water source? Is that a source of water, like drinking water, or you know? I know you could get like across the street. There's a place that you can get water. Like the water trucks go there and fill up, and right across the street they got a gas station right on top of the water table. You know, and how they did that without while circumventing environmental concerns is beyond me. I never really even looked into it, but I'm surprised that you know about it. You know, because that's pretty interesting. Anyway, right now I have a low network connection, so none of you could even see me or hear me right now. Anyway, let me check my internet. Is it even still on? See if my internet is on. Yeah, it's on. Oh, the signal is, yeah, it's back on. The signal is back on and y'all is still there. Wow. So is that what you was talking about, Bugsy? Like right across the street, the gas station, water trucks fill up right across from where that gas station is. So the same water table that I was talking about. Oh, okay, yeah, right. Yep. That is ill, right? That they're able to do that. How they was able to circumvent environmental concerns and do that. That is kind of ill. But it's just another example of how money talks here, you know, and how, you know, all kind of people are able to just circumvent the rule of law, and ain't nobody dealing with the law, you know, dealing with the real law. And you know, we don't know we don't know what we're doing, and it's time now to get more involved in the political process than we've been before. You know, we've been negligent. You know, people, we used to say, yeah, we got people for that. People in government, yeah, they going, you know, we elected them, blah, blah, and we thought we had time to argue and whatever. But look at how our quality of life has so steadily and rapidly declined. 10 years ago, like, we was partying every weekend, paying $10 for each drink. You know, nobody could afford to do that shit now. Nobody can't pay $10 a drink and party now. You know, like, things are not the same. So we got to roll with these changes and do better. Anyway, I gotta go, y'all. Enough love. Talk to y'all later. Bless.